Hey, welcome back to the channel. As always, I appreciate you taking the time to check out this video. Appreciate your support. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Shout out to the 19. Whew, okay, let's go. This is wild. We all know Juju Watkins is a great player. She's a great college player. However, have you noticed how the sports media seems to do everything it possibly can to crown her it as soon as possible? Not the next Caitlin Clark. They want to replace Caitlin Clark, and yet they have a tendency to ignore Hannah Hidalgo, which we'll get into in a moment. They are forcing this narrative around Juju as this heir apparent because they want a different face of the league. And we'll talk about that more in a moment because it is bad. But to this specifically, Hannah Hidalgo, and look, I am making a case. If you check this out, right? I am making a case as to why this from The Athletic is absolutely ridiculous. I'm not saying this is not about Juju not being a great player. It's not about Juju not being National Player of the Year or saying she doesn't deserve it or doesn't deserve to be in the conversation. That's not it at all. This is again about the media I want to get into because I'm curious what you all think about this as well. Because Hannah Hidalgo is playing just as well, if not better, than Juju Watkins and has been doing so all season. But she's completely dropped, as you can see in this with from The Athletic. She was completely dropped from this conversation after a few recent poor shooting performances. Forget what she's done all season long. The Athletics unanimous vote for Juju. Think about that. Unanimous, not a single vote for Hannah Hidalgo or any other player. It's like they were waiting for an excuse, and a few bad shooting performances is all it took. So let's take a look at some of this, okay? We can go to because yeah, as you can see here, unanimous. Yeah, but let's check this out. We can go to stuff like this. We're going to scroll up a bit so you can see some of these numbers. Juju, 24.4 points, 6.7 rebounds, 3.6 assists. Hannah Hidalgo is, very close, 24.2 points, but she doesn't shoot as much, which we'll get into. 5.3 rebounds, pretty good considering Juju has 6 inches on her and more assists at 3.8. The other thing that we'll get into is the shooting. The shooting is vastly different. Hannah shoots a better field goal percentage. It's 46.4 to Juju's 42.9. Hannah shoots significantly better from three, 40.1% versus 33.9%. Yeah, Hannah does also shoot better from two, 49% to 47.5%. And yes, the EFG, the effective field goal percentage, Hannah, significant advantage there as well, 52.2%. Juju couldn't even make 50% on the EFG at 48.6%. And Hannah's total field goal percentage would go up as well because Juju, great free throw shooter, okay? 82.6%, not taking anything away from that. And yet Hannah gets that too, 86.2%. It's absolutely wild. And yet, again, this is what I'm saying. Juju is unanimous. And it's not just about stats. I get it. You watch them play, which is to my point. Watch them play. Juju is shooting more, but Hannah is shooting better. Okay. Juju, again, slight rebounding edge, 6.7 to 5.3. Not the assist average, better. Hannah, they're both will classify them as shooting guards. Hannah has more assists, although, again, it is close. Now, Juju is a good defender. I've even had people say, oh, she's in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. And the steals are not the end all be all, but huge difference. Juju with 57 steals. Hannah is absolutely elite. She has 100 steals, which, by the way, as many steals. Hannah has as many steals as Juju has assists. Just about close enough, right? 100 steals for Hannah, 102 assists for Juju. So there's something else that's. I mean, I know that I shouldn't say media is completely ignoring it, but again, the Athletic just made Juju unanimous National Player of the Year. So I think it's important to talk about these things. And look, there's no doubt sports media loves a good story, but they love a good story that they approve of even more. And right now, and we've seen it, we even saw it when she was a freshman, they want Juju to be the generational player, the generational star, the face of women's basketball. And again, not Juju's fault. I have nothing against Juju. Okay. From everything I've seen, she's handled herself really well. I don't like the being in at the end of these blowouts where she's, jacking up threes to get stats, but she's a sophomore in college. I'm gonna give her a pass on that. But the media definitely plays favorites. It's unfair to both Juju and what they put on her shoulders that she did not ask for, and it's unfair for Hannah to be published. And the Athletic making Juju unanimous National Player of the Year is absolutely ridiculous. Look, Juju had a at least a 10-game stretch of bad shooting earlier this season. Okay, we can go through that. I mean, we can just take a look at some of them. I think I have them pulled up here for you. If we slide down through here and we just go through some of these, right? 8 of 19. I mean, we've got some of these. We've got 8 of 23, 7 of 19, 6 of 16, 6 of 15, 7 of 24, 8 of 22. That was against Iowa, by the way, when she disappeared at the end of that one. 4 of 11, 5 of 21, 5 of 14, 10 of 23, 6 of 16. And yet a few bad shooting games from Hidalgo recently, despite the season that she's had, and we just went through those numbers, she can't get a single solitary vote. Not a single vote. Absolutely wild. The media wants a very specific superstar, and that should not come at the expense of fairness to all of these players. I mean, it's hey, at this point, Juju could go 2 for 20 from the field, and the media would find a way to spin it as a gritty performance from the future GOAT and face of women's basketball. Meanwhile, Hannah misses a couple shots. They act like she forgot how to play basketball overnight and isn't even deemed worthy of a single vote. And I mean, all right, I don't want to get into this too much because I know this is going to blow up the comments, but this was last year, March of last year. Women's basketball needs faces of future to be black. Enter Juju Watkins. And she mentioned Hannah, and I'll explain why Hannah's not really in here in a moment. Like I said, I'm not going to go through too much of this because I know what it's going to do, but you can see it right here in the beginning. Uh, Here we go. Not lost in any of the power brokers in the game. Both of these players are black, and in a game built by black women. It was actually built by black men in the NBA. It matters that the faces of the future look like the faces of the past. Like that right there, I can't even begin to say how much I hate that, and that is like awful. And I don't care what degree of tan that we're talking about. I don't care what color we're talking about in this. That is disgusting. Anyone can play basketball, anyone can be good at it, anyone can be popular, and you certainly don't need future basketball players to look like past basketball players in order for the game to be good, in order for fans to enjoy the game. And it goes on and on. And this is spelling out why they couldn't stand Caitlin Clark, honestly, because this just goes on to more and more of that. You know, the women who built women's hoops, they haven't been acknowledged. Their existence has been wiped from the record books, and blah blah blah. Uh, so yeah, I mean that is, and the reason I say they've kind of erased Hannah from this is Hannah is, and you can agree or disagree, this is just the truth. She is problematic because of her religious beliefs, more so because she's been outspoken about them, right? She's not like one of these athletes that just says, after a great performance, I got to thank God. She's been outspoken about her specific beliefs, and she's gotten a lot of backlash for doing so. And so she's kind of been dropped from that. She check all the boxes, as they say. Look, they're both amazing players. Like I said, Juju and Hannah, both amazing players. I think Hannah is having a better season individually, not by much. Like I said, if the Athletic was, Juju got 27 first place votes and Hannah got 24 first place votes and, whatever. Okay. I mean, absolutely an argument. But as we went through these numbers and look at it, and again, Juju lost to Iowa and was terrible in that game. They shut her down. So, yeah, she has a couple signature wins against UCLA. Well, the team does. UCLA, I don't know how they've gotten as far as they had. The coach, anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. So those are 2 big wins, but losing to Iowa is a pretty big loss, especially when your star player doesn't show up. And UCLA also needed a terrible call to beat Iowa on 2 free throws. So, and whereas Juju shot 8 for 22 against Iowa, had 4 turnovers and only 3 assists. This type of media narrative hurts both players. Juju is being given unrealistic expectations and a lot of stuff on her shoulders she didn't ask for and doesn't need. And Hannah is being unfairly disrespected in order for them to make Juju it. If we actually care about recognizing greatness in these players, both players should be in the National Player of the Year discussion. Both players need to be in that discussion. You can make fair arguments, but there is no planet where Juju Watkins is the unanimous National Player of the Year. It just simply isn't that. What do you think? Is Juju getting too much hype? Is Hannah being overlooked for certain reasons when she shouldn't because they want to support their narrative? I mean, how many of these so-called sports media outlets? I mean, this is not the first bad take from the Athletic. How many of these you think you're even going to be around in a decade? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below on all that. I appreciate you checking out this video as always. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will talk to you later.